growing up in Utah, were you the only black kid in the class?
Often.
Oh, that's,
Very often.
do you think there was like a there's like a was there expectations? Of course, like like in Everybody Hates Chris, they expected him to be good at basketball.
Often, again, yes, I was always, yeah, I can say always, at least until the third month of school, until they learned that I wasn't good. I was always picked first for, football, basketball, tetherball. It was always some sport thing, and I was good at it, and I wasn't, so, yeah.
Is there? Because I think like Utah, there's like this thing I was reading or someone was talking about when like because some people like adopt like a child from Africa like as a token,
Yeah.
but like there's like it's nice, but like there's a real detriment to not him never seeing his culture or like not knowing what this is XYZ.
Yeah.
Were you shocked when you were?
So, I've always said, like, whatever, some can say my life was really traumatic, and it's fair. But it was a real big culture shock when my mom and I moved from South Phoenix to Salt Lake City, Utah. It was some things that would be said is like, hey, where did you adopt him from? And
Yeah.
my mom didn't hold no punches, and she'd say, oh no, he came right from this. Very blunt, very bold. This is my baby.
Your mom's Caucasian.
Caucasian, yeah. She's white and well Greek, but she's still Caucasian. So yeah, So people often thought I was adopted, or in family photos, I'm the only black kid in all this sea of Caucasians. At least with my Utah family, But
I feel like that's how it is a lot on the West Coast.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. I feel like there's, I don't know. I don't want to say like this is where all black people are, but I feel like there's, I don't know. You go on the East Coast, there's like it's more maybe diverse, and maybe like you go West Coast, it gets more Caucasian. But like,
right. No, I've heard that. I've always thought that. I always enjoyed coming here and visiting my dad or my brothers and sisters. I always say my black half is in Arizona, my white half is in Utah. Pretty much. But I've always thought this was really diverse and everything. Then you talk to someone that's been in the East Coast or the South, they're like, no, man, there's no black people here. I'm like, what? You're not even in Phoenix? I'm like, hell no. So,
no, because I come from Alaska, and over there.
Alaska?
Yeah, that's where I'm from.
There's black people there.
There is, yeah. I'm the blackest person.
Probably like Utah.
No, they're there. I think it's the most diverse place in the U.S. just because we have Samoans, natives.
Okay.
A lot of Africans go to Alaska to the asylum program.
Oh, wow.
So it's a little bit over there. That's why when I moved to Arizona, I was super shocked to just see like Mexicans at a Walmart or something like that.
Right.
Like to just see one race.
And how old were you when you moved here, though?
I was like.
Or moved from...
No, like yeah, I think I came here when like just 3-4 years ago, but still like not seeing like a little bit of everything
Okay.
at a Walmart or just seeing stores like with just one demographic.
Right.
Yeah. What is where did you live primarily, or did you live in Utah and Phoenix?
Primarily Salt Lake City. I mean, I went to most of my elementary school there. Junior high school was, junior high and high school was definitely all in Salt Lake City.
Did you get what was your sports, or did you have anything like that?
So yeah, I did. I actually rode BMX, man. My white half kicked in. Yeah, everybody like, what do you do? Oh, I ride BMX, man. So that was my, that, and I played women, but that was then.
I just think it's like when I'm BMXing, I'm not Kevin, I'm Kyle.
I'm Kyle. No, I am Kevin. It's like Mom said, Kevin. But no, BMXing, man. That was, that movie. I don't know, just something about bikes, and I think what that was it was my second hustle. The first hustle was recycling cans. I always had this mind for entrepreneurship, even when I was really young. Just a young hustler. But back in the day, we would do a thing called dumpster diving. Not homeless, but we're fifth and sixth graders going. I would grab all these bikes, I'd sand them down, paint them, redo the ball bearings. I'd flip them out on the corner, just sell. I'd get all these bikes and just hustle them. I'd sell tons of bikes. I was in fifth and sixth grade with fat wads. Kids were thinking I was doing other things, but no, man, I was just on my grind, man, riding my bike.
When did you stop, or when did you go to like another venture? It's just like, all right, I want to do like maybe, because I sold candy bars, but I ate my product. So horrible drug dealer.
Yeah. Yeah. that can happen. You know, don't get high off your own supply. You know, I don't know. I think, you know, trying to fit in, you know, and be cool. Like, oh, black people don't do that. You know, like I'm from the streets. You know, and da 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 da, and just adapting to different culture too. Like growing up in some of the trailer parks in Utah. You know, and then when I got my first NWA CD. You know, like hearing it, I was like, damn, yo, this, I really relate to this. This is literally my life, you know, different things that I grew up in. So I think probably 7th grade was when cause I sold my race bike, my BMX, my custom build, if you will, or my lowrider nowadays, right? I sold that in 8th grade because I, you know, was like, I'm not riding that no more. It's not cool.
For some reason, I thought you said I sold my race card. So
no, my race bike. Yeah, with the plate in front of it, you know, number 10, you know, blah blah blah, you know. So yeah.
I wanted to join the country club. I needed to get rid of being black.
Yeah, I couldn't ride my bike no more. Cause also not only that, I was looking into building a lowrider bike, and I was, you know, 14, 15, and trying to look more towards building a Cadillac. But lowrider bikes were the thing too. So I was like, I gotta build me a lowrider bike. Never ended up really building one. I had a frame, but never pushed for it because I ended up getting a Cadillac and doing that all up. So
I like lowriders. I don't know, because like I'm a big wrestling, so I like, my favorite wrestler was Eddie Guerrero. Okay. And he'd always, before he comes to the ring, he'd have a lowrider.
Oh, no way!
It, and then he put the hydraulics in. And
oh shoot! I'm gonna have to YouTube that after this and check it out. Yeah.
But you said like NWA. You listen to your CD. It's like I really relate to this. And because you said like the expectations of being black, but at the same time you're doing Caucasian activities such as like BMXing. So where does that kind of go? Like, did you expect this out of yourself, or some people are like, well, you should be good at this?
No, man. You know, bikes were just, I mean, shit. I learned riding. My mom taught me how to. She pulled my training wheels off. You know, black. You know, we can stereotype it and say that's black, but especially in the '80s, right? Late '80s, early '90s. You know, in Utah, definitely was a white Caucasian sport. But I mean, everybody likes riding a bike. It's just not mainstreamed, right?
Because I was just curious what you said, like kind of like expectations. And so it's like, what expectations are there for you?
I don't know, man. I don't really.
Only because you said that's the only reason.
Yeah, no. I mean, it just what I related to more. You know, I was listening to death metal and hard metal.
Slipknot.
They weren't around then.
Oh, no.
But Metallica, Anthrax, Slayer, Megadeth, you know, stuff like that. You know, that was it. Because, you know, in the trailer park, you know, that's just, I liked it. And that was my first concert, was Metallica and Justice for All. I was 10, 11, something like that.
Where do you find the rhythm in that?
Just banging my fucking head.
Just concussions.
Just, wow. And the mosh pit, man. The mosh pit. I was young, man. I had a lot of anger in me, man. So the mosh pit just, I think that was like a part of the like therapy session for me. You know, my first one, I just kind of found my way in it, not knowing what it was, because it was in between songs and it was just an empty space on the ground floor, and I was just standing there. And then the second the bass hit, that boom, got hit. So I didn't really do much then, because like I said, I was young. I was like, ow. But about the third song in, I was like, okay, this is cool.
What were you angry about at the time?
Life, man, just everything. You know, growing up. You know, growing up, man, a lot of neighborhoods, my mom was the only white person. You know, we lived in Barrios, we lived in Indio, California, which is nothing but Mexicans, you know, but my mom spoke Spanish. But she never really seemed like she had a black attitude, if I'm like stereotyping. But then when we moved to Utah, race became a thing. You know, I don't even think I heard the nigger word until I moved, until we lived in Utah. Like, hey, you're a nigger. Like, and it wasn't like an insult. It was just kids being kids. Hey, like probably they learned it from their parents or whatever. Hey, you're one of those niggers.
It's like they were saying it as more of a factual thing rather than
right. Or, yeah, you know, or, you know, hey, he's got brown skin. He's a nigger. You know.
So were you? Because for me, I didn't find out about race and ethnicity until I was like 12. I thought everyone was either black or white, depending on like if you're passing white, then you're just white to me. Like I just thought my Pakistani friends were just black people.
Okay.
Like I was just like, oh, you're just
right,
black.
Right, because their skin tone, right, black, white.
Yeah, so it's just like you see people at the airport getting pulled over for being brown. I was like, yo, if you're going racist, this guy's way darker than
right.
him. So I was like,
right. Well, so that's, you know, like the whole light skin thing. You know, you don't got it as bad as us because you light skinned, you know. I was like, man, I guarantee I'll pull my rap sheet and it'll be way worse than yours. Anyway, that's the whole thing. That's part of how my comedy is. I talk about all that because I've lived in some pretty hard ass ghettos, and I've lived in some Mexican hoods, and then I've lived in white trailer trash. So.
Do you think that builds like a shell around you, being on guard? Because I think if they're saying that so casually, that's coming from their parents.
What do you mean, like stereotypes?
Well, kind of like if
this is what blacks do. This is what
if they're
whites
saying like the N-word just so casually.
Oh, just nonchalant. Yeah, absolutely.
I assume people older would be just more like racist and kind of more just kind of like if they're I'll hit get out of my store.
Well, yeah, yeah, because they're it's the whole thing. Like if you're not playing sports, you must be a bad one, or you hear, oh, this is my good friend Kevin. He's one of the good ones. Mm-hmm. Like, what? Motherfucker, like, this is real conversations I've had with people. Like, I'm one of the good ones? Man, we done. Like, I'm done with you, bro. Like, nah, we're not cool no more, Like, it's ignorant.
When did you decide to leave Utah? Was it kind of just more, because I know you went to the military. Did you just leave that? Or kind of like, I just don't want to live here anymore?
Nah, bro, not at all. So, my dad, my biological father, he was always there just over the phone. And then at 16, I took money, that I had. And my whole life, my mom wouldn't let me see my dad. And I wanted to really go visit him and meet the guy, because even though he wasn't in my life, he was in my life. So at 16, I came to Phoenix, got a ticket, came to Phoenix. And, this is where I was born. So it was kind of vibe. So from there, I just kept coming back and forth. But so 2012, I decided, after the military, my first contract, I decided to move here.
Mm-hmm. So. Arizona's a great place, honestly.
I love it here.
Especially because I think it's just like, you get a few hot months, but if you have AC, you're set.
Yeah.
Then we have times like this where I was like, I was cold outside this morning, so
right.
It's just like freezing.
I like the heat, man. I just got back from Salt Lake, 2 nights ago.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I remember my first winter here. I was still walking around in tank tops and shorts, and everyone's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "This ain't cold." But by the second winter, 60 degrees was freezing. Like, oh my God, it's cold. But still, so yeah, we're spoiled here. Sunshine, clean cars, palm trees every day, year round. Spoiled.
You ever think of, as far as furthering your career in the future, do you think that's an AZ or do you think it's just wherever you want?
Man, no limit. I haven't been all the places I probably would like to live, to say it that way, but I don't see me. That's funny you asked that. I was actually just telling somebody a couple days ago in Salt Lake. I'd have to be stinking rich before I moved back to Utah, because I would want to build a log cabin in Park City, like fresh on ground. And just to live in Park City, you pretty much are rich, But I'm over here like, no, I want to buy the land, build a log cabin in Park City, and then have it my whatever they're called here, your not snow bunnies.
Snowbirds.
Snowbirds.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
No, I feel the same way, because like if I want to live in Alaska, I always love being in the mountains, because like there's, because it's kind of like Dave Chappelle has a bit about like growing up around poor people, growing up around rich people, and you don't find out you're poor until like, you go to a rich person's house. And you're like, wow, like what is this, a garbage disposal? Like that's crazy.
Seriously.
But yeah, because like I go to the house and like I do moving, and this guy's view from his bathroom on the toilet, he could view the whole country, like the state. I'm just like, wow, and view the sunset from that balcony.
That's funny.
So it's just
That's
like,
funny you mentioned that.
Yeah, so it's cool. Like they have a cabin and just kind of just be up there.
Right. Well, you mentioned I kind of chimed in over there because you mentioned you do moving. So before the military, I did floor installation. So I did carpet, tile, VCT. Taught some of my friends to switch up, and some of them are still making their lifestyle doing that. And that's where I really got exposure to travel around, and install floors in some really nice homes. But that was my taste of, damn, I'm broke. I need to switch something up. Like something need to change for me, So yeah.
You were in the military for 14 years, and then you did the flooring. Is there any part of you that's kind of like, wow, like, because it's always a risk to leave something, especially when you're doing it for so long. That's why people don't leave certain jobs, because it's just like they've gotten so many raises, so like where else are they going to make $30 an hour? But they hate their job at the same time. So yeah.
Well, so for me, man, I did carpet before the military. So I went in the military not at 18. I was originally joining the military, well, the Marine Corps. At 17, I was going in, but you know, my cousin joined, one of my best friends joined, I was joining, but then my girlfriend at the time got pregnant, and the recruiter was like, "Hey, you'll never see your kid if you're not going to get married." So put that on the back burner. Did floor installations for 8-9 years, and then I joined in 2005, and so still every day I'm like, I should just go back to floor installation because it's good money and it's easy. It's like riding a bike. You know, I still dabble in it every now and then when people call me like, "Hey, can you fix this for me?" I still got the tools. So
I didn't even know you had a kid. That's cool.
yeah,
Just one?
just one.
Okay.
Yeah, she's super proud. She's not a kid anymore, but she's my kid. She's 24 years old. So
We are the same age. That's crazy.
yeah. Oh, you're 20.
I turned 25 in like a few days.
Okay,
so,
there you go. Yeah, she just turned 24. So
That's
Yeah.
cool, nice. That's always funny because like
yeah, no one thinks I'm the age I am. So.
it's because your haircut. You got that. You got that Orlando Bloom High School Musical. If you ever watched that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I got the curls, man. I got that good hair. It's the Greek. It's the Greek and the African mix.
Yeah.
You know, it's like Shaka Zulu and Zeus.
It's like
Just got that good hair.
it's like Euros with extra seasoning.
Yes.
It's like, for what you do. So what is your job now? I know you're doing comedy and all this, but like
Pretty much, man. Comedy is like my full-time gig. I go to school. You know, I go to school full-time, but right now I'm in between semesters. So
What do you go to school from?
social work.
I'm sorry.
So, hey man, look, it's like this. My school is paid for, and I get paid to go to school.
Oh.
So I had to find something and somebody. So that was one you're asking. Was it kind of like people kind of forcing, like asking, like, "Oh, you should do this." So that actually was something that other people suggested. You know, just because I think I'm pretty well-rounded. I've been exposed to a lot of stuff in my life, a whole lot, like first-hand experience, not stories. Lived in it, done it, whatever. And somebody was like, "You ever thought about being a social worker? Because people really listen to you when you talk." And I was like, I don't want to help nobody, not like that. You know, I really didn't. You know, so because I always thought social worker was just the people that come and take kids. Like that's all I knew in my head. You know, and they're like, "No, man, you could really help vets or troubled teens or people that grew up kind of like in areas you have because you got experience, not just school." So I started looking into it, and here I am. Senior, well, I'll be a senior when the next semester starts.
Do you think about like, cause you've kind of gone through, I just think when you're around multiple cultures, that kind of adds a lot of perspective into, it's like me, that's why I was reading this book, I think called The Originals, but it kind of talked about a lot of artists, they traveled a lot, and then they were able to, it's like you're not going to be that artistic if you just grew up in Nebraska your whole life and never left once.
Right.
Do you think, like, do you notice, like, oh wow, I've kind of been, like, around a lot of groups of people, a lot of different groups of people. I don't know where I was kind of going with that question, but it's just kind of...
No, I'm gonna kind of try to take it. I think what you're saying is when you're born and raised in a place and it's the only, like if you live still in the same neighborhood and your mom and dad never like divorced or split or moved and you lived in one house in one city and then you grew up and started a family and you still live in that same city, you didn't even switch cities, you live in a different house but the same city, you're missing out. It's a big wide world out there and a lot of people excuse me, you're really just in a box. You know, if the TV is the only experience you know of travel or the Discovery Channel, you know, like I think you're missing out on a lot of culture and world.
The cringy thing is, like, I was watching that Colin Kaepernick series on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
And the reason it's kind of is because it's such, of course it's condensed his life, but it's such exaggerated forms of racism because it's kind of like they need to put this into a show, so like,
right.
But it's kind of like his parents adopted him, and they were like the whitest people you could think of.
Right.
But like they're so white that when she was trying to go to find a hairstylist for him, she's like, "Do you know where I can get those things where it looks like there's trains on your head?" And I'm just like, is there white people that really just don't know what like braids are? Like, is this? I don't know, it's just shocking to me.
Right. Yeah. Well, my mom dated a lot of black dudes, so obviously. But there were times, you know, she'd take me into different barbershops, or I would say not barbershops, but what is it? Salon schools.
Yeah. Oh, so schools.
Yeah, so the chicks were just happy to get their hands on a black young man, you know, and oh, his hair is so, because they don't. That's the funny thing with barbers. A lot of, especially back then. I don't know how they do it now, but clearly they didn't teach, you know, textured hair or coarse hair, you know. But they did all right, you know. They get my high top fades and my steps and my side steps okay, you know, no hate. But then, you know, eventually I was like, Mom, I want to go where people look like me. And so there's a couple shops in Utah that, you know, they were just pricier, you know. So.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. I know that feeling. It's just like you're paying $40-$30, and it's just like this grows back like extremely. I don't know if everyone's hair grows in fast, but like
right, it's for real, man. I wish the beard grew like that. 'Cause I'm jelly. I keep trying, bro, but it's like Patch Adams on my face, so it's just like, all right, I'll just do this little bit
12
here.
years a slave out here.
The struggle is real, bro. I mean, shit, if I never served, bro, I swear I would still have such a baby face, because there you have to shave every day, you know. Like, I mean, I went in at 26, and they're like, shave your face, you know, you learn right in boot camp every day. So, I mean, but God, I probably shaved like twice before I went to boot camp, you know, because I didn't ever need to. I had that thin little, you know, 4-hair mustache that I'd hold on to like with pride. Just, oh, I'm a man. So, but yeah.
What is it? So like, what are you trying to improve in? Because it's interesting, because I don't think of like, maybe it is, maybe it's not. I don't think of like social work as like a high earning like position. So that seems like something you're just doing just to be nice.
It's a strong possibility, man. And it's also a whole thing where I'm too far to switch it up now. Mm-hmm. Like, I gotta get the degree. Like, I don't want to. I've never been the person that. I don't want to be however old. But I've met so many people that are just like, oh, I wish I would have done this when I was younger. I ain't never been like that. Like, life is to live. I only got one. So if I like question it, let's go. You know, I do not live in fear, man. I know I'm gonna die one day, so spread your wings, man, and go. Like, that's the one guarantee I got in this life, so let's go. So with the school, man, I want the degree. You know, people are like, oh, ain't you gonna get your master's degree? Well, I didn't know I was gonna get my bachelor's degree until the day I was graduating with my associates. I was like, okay, I'll go get my bachelor's, because I didn't want to set it in stone, you know. So that's where I'm at right now. Like, I just want to get my bachelor's degree, and then I'll choose later if, you know, if that's the road I want to take.
Well, I understand that part. You're just kind of finishing. Because if you're 75% of the way there, I mean, just like, just do it. Do you think, I don't know, because I think when people go to school, like they graduate high school, I personally feel like people should take a break, like 2 to 3 years, and find out, like, okay, because a lot of the time, at least even I felt peer pressure to just go to school for anything. It's just kind of like,
just get the degree.
Like, I don't even know, like, in hindsight, like, you're 18 and I'm like, I know everything. It's like, I don't even know, like, what I like personally. Like, even today, it's just like, do I want to try coding? Do I want to, like, maybe see what a travel nurse career is? Just so I can kind of, for me now, it's more like finding these positions so I can have more capital, so I can be able to make more investments, stay into, like, a studio or camera equipment, and maybe just be able to, like, just live a nicer lifestyle while pursuing, because you don't have to be a broke artist. Like,
no, you don't.
You could be a comedian. Like, you don't have to just do Uber Eats if you're a comic. Like,
no, you can branch out. You know, I just, you know, even like the saying, the sky's the limit. I'm like opposed to that. You know, like the sky has there's stuff after the sky. Yeah. Stratosphere, space. You know, keep breaking through. You know, keep challenging yourself. Hit the goal. Hit the goal. Hit the goal. Hit the goal.
What is your, outside of stand-up, is that like kind of like is that kind of like the main art form you're focusing on? Or is there anything like you're kind of dabbling in besides just school? Because I'm just like, right now I just think of your life is just like school, comedy, and then you got some family and stuff.
So like I say, entrepreneurship, man. I don't want to, I will build generational wealth. Most likely it'll be in performing arts, comedy, acting, music, signing, bringing people on, you know, that are way better than me or worse, you know, but trust me as a CEO or president.
What business ventures have you been pursuing right now, or have you thought of put on the back?
You know, like the arts, acting, comedy, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. You know.
I guess it is a business, but at the same time, it's like I just think of it as like perfecting first and then monetizing later.
Okay.
Of course, so it's just like let me, because there's a lot of people that jump into comedy in like their first month. It's like they're already making merch.
Yeah, like the what did you say? I watched one of your videos. I can't remember who the guest was, but you said the 5-month comic.
The 5-month comic.
And man, that's the truth, man. You know, I don't know how long people were asking me about a stage name, but they didn't know what I'd already researched. They didn't know what I've already experienced and stuff like that. So, you know, like I'd always see me as pushing forward and stretching that bubble to business. So
yeah, I think I don't know, after, because I just finished my first year of comedy, and you just know, like, you know, everything happens, just you gotta be patient, you know. I was like, I've been happy this past week. I just got like maybe like 3 or 4 offers to be on a show for January, so I'm like, you know, it's just like you gotta take time and work on it, and it's just like people will hit you up when you're decent.
Facts. So truth, I just got my first offer for a 20-minute gig.
Oh wow.
You know, if that would have came a year ago, I would have panicked. But no hesitation. I was like, hey, I'd be honored to. Boom, done. Like I got it. You know, granted the most I've done is 15, but I was like, okay, another. You know, you learn the craft. You learn how to pause and break and filler rather than just a dick joke and pussy and sex or whatever. Sorry, sorry, mom.
There's definitely like because I was talking with David about this, and he's like, I literally don't see the benefit of going to open mics, and I'm like, I do. I mean, it's just like, because the thing is, if you notice, like a lot of more successful comics are like they're older. Like no one really breaks out as like a 22-year-old Netflix special unless you're like Eddie Murphy,
Guru, Dave Chappelle, like
yeah.
Boom. But even then, if you read like Kevin Hart's book, his first one, you know, there was a struggle. He was going back and forth.
Driving like 5 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
He wasn't even getting stage time too.
No, so he was just chilling in the crowd, showing support, learning his craft, being in the environment. So I mean, that's I went to Wise Guys just a week ago in Salt Lake. You know, I was just there, but the host seen me last year, and he's like, "Hey, you want to get put on? I got you." And I was like, "No, I'm just here to support." He's like, "Yo, that's cool." He's like, "Are you sure?" I was like, "Yeah." Can I get a little rain check? Sat back, watched the show for about 45 minutes. Went back, said, "Hey, can you throw me on?" He's like, "I'll see what I can do." It was just 3 minutes, but 3 minutes in Salt Lake City at Wise Guys, and it was a pack. So that was a great open mic, by the way. Dog, full crowd, not full of comics. It's like a regular comedy show. Like, yeah, I want to go up, because after I watched enough of it, I realized that was a legit crowd, not just comics. So, it's just different when you're doing open mic and you get no feedback.
No, yeah, I think, I don't know, yeah, 3 minutes is like, at the same, sometimes 5 minutes feels like an hour when you're unprepared. Or at least because, like, I'm trying new material, I'm just like, okay, this is like, how much time? It's been 40 seconds, and then yesterday I was at Stir Crazy, and I had the bucket spot, and then at 3 minutes, I was like, 3 minutes already? I was like, I haven't even got through, like half of my jokes, so I was like,
it's the truth, man. It can be 3 minutes is a long fucking time. So.
What do you expect in the upcoming future? As far as more immediate, because I know there's generational wealth in buying land, and everyone wants to be able to own, take care of their family. But like, say, what are some things you're focusing on immediately, or at least that you're trying to improve on?
Okay, my business, my entrepreneurship, and get my business off the ground, which is just about to start on the first to release different things. But I'm waiting until the first, so I really want to tell you right now. But anyway.
We did this 2 days ago.
We've done this like 3 days, a couple times. No, hey, you got to stay true to your whiteboard, man. I see you got yours right there. I got goals. So business will drop January 1st. My LLC. Music. Hopefully getting more movies, getting in more featured in movies.
What do you think is... I'm curious because actors are always like, I don't like being at the whim of someone else's approval to get an acting role. That's why I'm very big on just making my own
entrepreneurship.
Well, that's why I'm just making my own shit. Just kind of like, that's why I'm just learning the editing thing, so I can be like, I just like, okay, this is me, and then some other people look, it's like, yo, can I like help you or do this with you? Right. So are you just do you just do auditions and things like that?
Yeah and no, but usually it's just people like hit me up like, hey, we got the spot, are you interested? Or I'll see one and I'll send in my resume, and either get it or don't, or I'll make a audition tape. You know, it's like throwing a ball. Once it's released, there's nothing else I can do about it. So.
Yeah,
But like you say, you know, so I try to do my little shower coffee thing. But man, so that's why I give you props on all your stuff. So I got a dual monitor. So I do all my editing on my phone right now. So it's hard, right? So I just got to step my game up. That's what's on my whiteboard, you know, for 2022. You know, get different apps and put them on my desktop and use my dual monitor because that's not even set up. It's just there.
No, I feel you. I was like, it's easy. It's honestly right now, it's easier for me to edit on my phone, but I know long term I need to get familiar with the interface on a desktop. So that's why I'm just like, I could do this on my phone. That's why I'm just editing on there.
Sure.
Just so I can know like you know, color effects and just kind of like splicing, kind of just like taking different audio tracks, making a montage, effects, and transitions.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's obviously like anything, the more you do it, the better you get.
Yeah, I feel like you just gotta be okay with sucking at first.
That's a big problem of mine.
Yeah, that's the thing with the 5-month comic we were talking about. A lot of them, they're just like, they'll do a spot at JP's really hot room, then they'll do Tempe Improv, and they're like, give me a Netflix special, and then it's just kind of like, you know, they don't know the pain of silence at an open mic with people that have already heard your set 5 times.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, if you can get an open mic room to laugh, you've got something. You definitely got something. So.
You got some grapes. You got some grapes, right?
I always say I know I got a little bit of something if my daughter laughs.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, if I run a set by my daughter and she chuckles, because I'm her dad, so I'm not funny at all. You know, and people like tell her all the time, oh, your dad's so funny, blah, blah, blah. She's like, not to me.
Like,
I'm so used to like everything he talks about. You know, it's my dad. So if she smirks or she comes to a show and I realize she's laughing, I'm like, yes, got it. You know, so.
I definitely feel that as I feel like I'll put some stuff by Naomi, and, you know, she's a consumer of the product and she knows me, so there's no shock value for her. So what I say is like, oh, this must have really good wording if she likes it. Or like, but yeah, she's just like, let's do ASMR tie-dye. I'm like, ASMR? And then we did that, you know, it's back earlier videos, but that was like one of my better viewed videos back in there. It was like, I love ASMR. I'm like, really? Like,
what does it sound? What is it?
ASMR. It's just like one of those things where like you whisper into them. It's like, all right, so it's okay.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So then you're doing stuff like you're drinking water or just eating.
Right, I remember watching a few of those with you in there. Yeah.
I don't watch anything I make. I'm be honest.
Nothing.
I don't watch. It's cringe to me. I can't watch anything I make. I'm just like.
What about your stand-up? Do you watch your stand-up? Or
Yeah.
do you listen to your recordings?
I listen to my recordings.
Okay.
I don't, unless I know it's like, I don't listen back to open mics, because it's just painful. It's like,
I'm sorry, because that's the fucking truth.
it's already painful to listen to it once. I'm not going to listen to one from 5 months back.
Right.
But if it's like a guest spot, and I can notice, because I'll be like, oh, this is 8 minutes, so it's probably in front of an audience. So like, I'll just listen back and I'll just see how do these jokes go over.
Right.
Because I tweak the wording and try to put my animation behind it.
Right. Yeah, real quick. So recently, that's a little bit of the reason why my voice is so raspy right now. So this last show I did in Chandler, or wherever it was, I'm sorry, I forget the place. But anyway, I realized because I was watching old videotapes of my stand-up, and a lot of the crowd when I do this one bit, when I scream, but I've been screaming into the mic, and I watched the crowd, not myself, and they pull back, and then I tried it, and I just dropped the mic, and I just let it all out. Man, it got him, and I was like, yes! I just watched the room when I dropped the mic, and I just let it scream, and then the next one I go back, and it's like a Marine drill instructor yelling, and they just owned it, and it's so much easier, because I know I'm loud enough to, I've got reach, right? I've been trained to use my, to scream. So it's just so much better, because normally they're like, ooh, so that part of watching my old videotapes actually helped benefit watching my stage presence. That's what improv's taught me too, is be a little looser on the stage rather than just standing there holding the mic in one spot, blah, 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 blah.
Boo.
Right. You got a whole stage, use it.
So just to cap it off, I mean,
Okay.
simple question. Say you watch this 10 years from now, what are you asking yourself? What are you asking your future self?
Live in the moment.
Are you living in the moment, or just live your ass in the moment?
Live in the moment, man. Stay present. Keep your ass where it's at.
I like it. fade to black.